Hey 7X, today we're going to learn about the last type of transformation in this unit, and that is rotation. So a rotation is all about turning a figure about a fixed point. So we're going to learn about two different types of rotations. We're going to rotate a figure 90 degrees and then 180 degrees in a clockwise rotation. So after a rotation is completed, the new image is congruent to the original image. That means the new image and the original image are the same size and same shape. They're just positioned in a different place on the coordinate plane. So just like every other day before today, we are using Braining Camp. If you guys know how to log on to Braining Camp, you can simply skip past this portion of the video. Okay, click sign in. Username is North Rockland, no capital, no space, and our password is 12345. Please click on the XY coordinate board. Do not forget to change your coordinate board to have 4 quadrants by clicking on that bottom cross. And then also go over to the point where it says XY and click on that so that it labels each coordinate for us. Again, if you need to change your axes, you can either zoom out or zoom in on Chrome and you will see your axes will either shrink or enlarge. Okay. So let's start with our first example. So we're first going to start by rotating a figure 90 degrees clockwise. Now with rotation, we have basic rules that we have to follow. Okay, and we use this rule when we're rotating a figure only 90 degrees clockwise. So what's going to happen is we look at our original point, X and Y, and you simply switch the X and the Y. So our Y coordinate is going to go where our X coordinate is, and our X coordinate is going to go where the Y coordinate normally is. That's step one. But then you also take the opposite of your X coordinate. Okay, so for example, the coordinate 5, 2. We switch the X and the Y, so it's going to become 2, 5, and then take the opposite of positive 5, which is negative 5. So after that rotation, 5, 2 becomes 2, negative 5. Okay, so it's a two-step procedure. You switch the X and the Y, but then you take the opposite of X. So if the X is positive, you make it negative, and then if the X is negative, you make it positive. Okay? All right, so let's get started. All right, number 1, we have a triangle that has the following coordinates, 1, 1, 3, 1, and 3, 3. Step 1, as always in this unit, plot those points on Braining Camp. So I'm going to come over to Braining Camp, and I'm going to start plotting these points. So I first have 1, 1, then I have 3, 1, and then finally I have 3, 3. Connect your dots to form your triangle using these rubber bands. Okay, so there is my original image. Now I'm going to go back to my Google Slides. Now part B, I got to complete that 90-degree clockwise rotation. So step 1, switch the X and the Y. Our first coordinate is easy, it's 1, 1, so if I switch 1, 1, it's going to remain the same. But I need to take the opposite of X. The opposite of X is negative 1. So my new coordinate is going to become 1, negative 1. Okay? Notice how you guys might think, oh, this is the Y coordinate and you made that negative. But remember, I switched it first. So that is my X coordinate. Okay, so that's my new point, 1, negative 1. Now I need to do the same thing for my second coordinate, 3, 1. So I switch the X and the Y. So it would be 1, 3, then take the opposite of 3, which is negative 3. So my new point is 1, negative 3. Okay, last coordinate is 3, 3. Again, it's an easy one. I switch it. It still remains 3, 3, but take the opposite of X, which is negative 3. So my coordinate is going to be 3, negative 3. Okay, I now have to plot these new points on Braining Camp. So I'm going to come to Braining Camp, pick a different color, and start plotting those points. So we have 1, negative 1, 1, negative 3, and 3, negative 3. Okay, connect the dots. Whoops, wrong color. Okay, and there is our second image or our new image. As you can see, this triangle was simply rotated 90 degrees, and now it's no longer in quadrant 1, it's now in quadrant 4. Okay, so most importantly, I got to copy and paste this image. So right click, copy, come to the next slide, and simply paste. Okay, and there's my work. All right, so that's the rule for rotating an image 90 degrees clockwise. You first switch in the x and the y, and then you take the opposite of whatever your x value was in your original coordinate. Okay, another type of rotation is rotating a figure 180 degrees clockwise. New rule, and it's a different rule. When we rotate a figure, whoops, this is supposed to say 180. When we rotate a figure 180 degrees clockwise, all you have to do is take the opposite of x and take the opposite of y. You're not switching anything. You just take the opposite of x and y. So if the x is positive, it becomes negative. If it was negative, it becomes positive, and same with y. So if we look at some examples down here, the coordinate 5, 2 will just become -5, -2 because I just took the opposite of x and y. Okay, if we look at this coordinate down here, 3, -4, take the opposite of x and y. The opposite of +3 is -3, and the opposite of -4 is +4. All right, so let's look at an example. All right, so number 3 says a triangle has the following coordinates 2, 2, 6, 2, 2, 2, 6, and 6, 2. So part A or step 1 is plot these points on Braining Camp. So I'm going to come to Braining Camp. I'm going to clear, and I'm going to plot my original coordinates. So we have 2, 2, 2, 6, and 6, 2. Now I'm going to connect my dots. Okay, so that was step 1. I come back to Google Slides. Step 2, complete a 180-degree rotation. So I got to follow this rule. Take the opposite of x and take the opposite of y. So my first coordinate, or my original coordinate, is 2, 2. Got to take the opposite of both x and y. The opposite of +2 is -2, as is for the y coordinate. So my new coordinate is going to become -2, -2. My second coordinate, 2, -6, is going to become -2, -6. And for my last coordinate, which is 6, 2, take the opposite of both. So that's going to become -6, -2. Okay, I now have to plot my new points on Braining Camp. So I go back to Braining Camp and start plotting. So we're going to have -2, -2, -2, -6, and -6, -2. Okay, connect your dots. Okay, and here is our new image. In our original image, we can see that it was rotated 180 degrees in a clockwise motion. Okay, as always, copy and paste your Braining Camp board onto the next slide so that I can grade that. Okay, you guys now are going to complete the 2 You-Do problems on this Google slide. As always, plot those original coordinates that I give you first, then follow the rules to find your new points for the rotation, and then plot those new points to get your second image, and then finally copy and paste your Braining Camp board on the following Google slide right here. Okay, guys, as always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.